What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of the Deadlifts and Pizza. No fitness. Whoops.
No
Deadlifts and
fitness.
pizza. No fitness. No BS. Fitness and nutrition podcast.
We don't talk about fitness here.
None. No. Only deadlifts and pizza. How's your day going?
Good. I just got out of the pool, was swimming with the kiddos. It's really nice today.
Yeah, but you kind of hinted that something in particular happened. Do you want to talk about that?
I mean, it's not a huge story, but my daughter, I was playing with them in the pool. Then my son had to leave to go to his doctor's appointment. So then it was just me and my daughter. I got out for a little bit. I'm just like watching her. And then she started taking her life jacket off and acting like, she wants to get out. Because I guess that's what that means. That's what I was assuming. So I was like, okay. So I picked her up. And then I realized that she had pooped in the pool. So I had to.
Was it like in the pool?
No, it stayed in her.
It was contained?
Yeah. So there's probably some residue in the pool.
Oh.
Probably, because when I went to go change her, it was like, I don't want to give details, but it was a hard one. But the water, you could see it was like, like, I don't want. Yeah. Anyway.
Well,
So
welcome to the Deadlifts and Pizza podcast, where we talk about our kids pooping in the pool.
Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds fun. Sure, she had a good time.
It's good because she's not going to be pooping in her room and throwing it around.
I mean, you got to pick one. Like, pick your battles, right?
Yeah, at least the chlorine in the pool,
At least you know that one's out of the way for the day.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Hopefully. Sometimes she'll do it twice.
Dude, I'm tired.
Are you?
I mean, I feel like my brain is tired because I have been so focused all day. It's been awesome. Like, I've actually gotten a lot done. But the thing that I've been focusing on the last, I want to say like 3 hours, is getting that dang episode 1 like uploaded. Like, trying to figure out how to create your very first podcast is like, there's so many little things. You need an intro, you need an outro, you need to transition between the two. How do I download it? Where do I put it? Where do I upload it? Like, show notes and YouTube channels and all the things.
Yeah.
And theoretically, it'll be easier each time, right? Because then we already have the template for everything. We just pop in the new recording. But getting it all set up for the first time is, it's exciting though.
It is.
Like, I feel like it's going to be cool.
Because we've been talking about it with our clients, but haven't like released it for a couple weeks. So
for all the people. And by the time all the people listen to this one, it's already uploaded actually. But just know that there a lot of work went into that. So I want you to go back and listen again and like really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Getting our sound figured out, getting like all, and then not to mention that we chose to start it at the busiest time for both of us, which I think is fun. Yeah. I'm proud of us. We've met. This is the 3rd week in a row that we've been able to meet and do this.
We haven't missed it.
Have not missed it.
I'm jealous that you're so focused. It's hard with the children here. I don't like, I have to do my work later on in the day and I don't like it.
Yeah, that's hard. But at least they go back to some sort of school or care or camp or something in like a week.
Yeah, it's only a couple weeks. And then there'll be like a couple weeks before, like at the end of the summer before they go back.
So I'm a little jealous of that.
Yeah.
So I was going to talk about something that's just obviously been on my mind is I'm traveling in the States. So I'm in Maryland right now and I'm going to be traveling for this is week 1 of 6. And so just general, like how I'm planning to stay on track with my fitness and nutrition. I think we might've talked about that last week a little bit, but I've been tested a little bit this week. Cause like, it's one of those things I was telling my friend earlier today, I was talking to her about, I joined Taekwondo, like I want to say 6 weeks before I left on this trip. And this Taekwondo class is 3 days a week. And it's like high intensity, very hard workout. Like it is very challenging. And I'm not good at pushing myself if it's not weights. Like for some reason, if I know that I can do 5 more pounds or I can do 10 more pounds or I can do 1 more rep, like I can push myself to do that. But in any other form of exercise, I don't. Like, I'm like, oh, wow, I'm tired. That was good for today. Like, I'm going to go run for 30 minutes. Oh, 10 minutes in. Wow, there's some sweat. I think I'll
I-
stop. Good job.
I'm the same way, and sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm the same way. And for me, I think it's because it's a short duration, so I know that I can do like 1, 2, 3 more reps, whatever it is, and then I get a break, and then I do it again, and then I get a break, and there's a measurable thing. So it's not just like me kicking
Hmm.
or punching or doing something that's not really. I can't measure my intensity the same way. Sorry,
That's
you
a
can
good,
continue.
well, that's a good point. But so I set up my training program, so to speak. I wanted to do like Metcon, like metabolic conditioning. So I'm using a weight, but it's, 125-pound dumbbell or 125-pound kettlebell. And I'm doing kind of going through, so not like traditional strength training, just using weights with cardio, whatever. I'm trying to keep my endurance up. I'm trying to keep, strength and muscle, whatever, up. I'm trying to maintain whatever, healthy, fit, travel. That's my goal. And I want to come back to Taekwondo when I get back. I don't want to be like a floppy fish on the mat. I want to like actually jump back in and like my endurance is there, flexibility, maybe I can even improve. Like that's kind of what I want to do. But now I think I'm 3 workouts in and I find myself writing down, like I wrote down to do 3 rounds of like whatever it was that I was doing. And after 2 rounds, it was like I was very tired. I was like, wow, that is very hard. Like, wow. Okay, you know what? It's been about 20 minutes. Like, two. Yeah, man, go me. Week one,
Yeah,
I should really ease into this, and lying to myself, just complete BSing myself in my head. Like, it's week one, you got to ease into it and all this stuff. Like, I'm just totally BSing myself. And I was thinking about the idea that when I'm at the Taekwondo class, you don't really have a choice. Like, I am dreading, I dread everything after the warm up and you go get a drink of water. That drink of water, I'm going in my head like, damn it. Like, I got like 2 seconds left before I have to go out there and put my max effort. And then I do max effort for like a minute, come back, go get a drink of water. Damn it, I got to do it again, don't I? And I would leave if I could, but like I physically can't because he just, calls you back and you have that extra accountability pushing you to do it. But when I'm on my own, I don't have that. It's all in my head. So I'm telling myself like, Jamie, when you think you're tired, do another round. When you think you're tired, do, because that's what the master would do in like Taekwondo. So
yeah,
today I was like so proud of myself because after 2 rounds, I was like, OMG. Like I'm done. Good job. But I told myself, I was like, nope, if you think you're tired, do another round. If you think you're tired, do another round. And it was
yeah.
torture getting through that last round, but like I did it.
What can you give me an example of what you were doing?
What did I do? I can't remember everything, but I know it was like a Bulgarian split squat, and I'm doing it all with a 25-pound dumbbell because when I have a hotel gym, but when I leave here, I'm gonna have a 25-pound kettlebell, so I want to try to mimic it. So I did like a Bulgarian split squat, and then I go right into, I don't know, like a sumo row, and then I go right into like a loaded windmill, like overhead loaded windmill. And then I think I go right into, I think I did like a stiff leg, stiff leg, single leg, Romanian deadlift. Um, I think I did, a planche push up. Have you ever seen a planche push up? So it's like my daughter was like, Mommy, your push ups look awful. Your form is terrible. I was like, no, it's a thing. You like round your shoulders. It's almost like you're pushing the ground away and you're rounding your shoulders.
Okay.
And you're squeezing your core. And
I
it's
was gonna say, does
supposed
that work
to,
your core?
it does. And it's supposed to prep you for doing like, do you see those people, those like gymnast people who have they're in like a push up position, but their hands are down by their waist and their feet are
Hmm.
off the floor. So their whole body is like
Yeah,
balanced on their 2 hands. It's a push up basically in that position. And it's supposed to kind of prep you for, because I'm trying to get better at like cool shit with your body, not just
yeah,
necessarily like deadlift. So I'm doing, and they're hard because your whole body is like super tense. And
yeah.
it's a very odd look for a push up. So I'm doing like those, and I think I'm ending, and I'm doing it 3 rounds, but then I'm ending it with every minute on the minute, 3 to 5 pull ups for 5 minutes.
Ooh,
And that was actually really hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The first 3 are cake, but then it's like, oh my God. Yeah. I'm proud of myself though. I did it. But
Yeah, that's
then I'm
awesome.
like, week one, it took so much mental energy to just buckle down and do it because usually when I'm on vacation or I'm traveling, I kind of check out mode, but I'm forcing myself to be like on it. And I just am really hoping, no, I am planning on sustaining this the entire 6 weeks, but it's going to be hard.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
nutrition is hard too. But
Something like that, I would be interested for maybe like 2 weeks, and then I'm like, I'm done.
mm-hmm.
I'm bored. I
Mm-hmm.
want to do something
Mm-hmm.
else.
No, but see, I don't have the option,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So I just have to push through and remind myself of the bigger reason why I'm doing it and all that stuff. And then nutrition has been fun. My goal has been 30 grams of protein and 7 to 10 grams of fiber every meal. Not worried about calories. I'm just looking at each meal and going, where's my 30 grams of protein? Where's my 7 grams of fiber? And it's been decent. Like I think this morning wasn't great. And then I ran out of yogurt. I went to Walmart, got myself some like high protein yogurt so I can make sure I got that 30 grams of protein in the morning, and berries. But I ran out of those things, but we're flying on an airplane again tomorrow. So like I don't have those. Don't want to buy them again. So stuff like that. And then like we're going out to eat, people are making us delicious food. No lie, we've had ice cream cake, I think 3 nights in a row. Like just random people have bought ice cream cakes and we have just been like, yeah, that's awesome. So just a lot of extra calories, which is fine, but it's like,
Yeah,
just trying to keep it all in check. Because again, it's
yeah.
only
That's
week one.
that's the important part, especially since you're gonna be here for 6 weeks.
I know, because it's here and it's all the things. And, we're
Yeah.
seeing friends, we're doing celebrations, all these things. And then we're going to go to Colorado for my mom's wedding. There's going to be wedding festivities. And then once we get to El Paso, it's just food central in El Paso. So here's something. I've been
Yeah.
wanting to talk. I've been wanting to talk to you about this. I already know what you think because we've actually already talked about this. But I thought this was a really good topic for this particular thing for the pod, for the Deadlifts and Pizza pod. GLP-1. Like
All right.
Wegovy. What's the other word for it? Ozempic.
Ozempic. Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially the weight loss shot. And there's so much, obviously it's still relatively new, but it's becoming almost not new anymore. It's almost becoming just kind of mainstream.
Yeah.
And there's so many opinions. You'll see opinions
Yeah.
flying, everywhere on it. And I feel like I've shifted a little bit on my thoughts about it as it's gone. But what do you think? What do you think in general? What are your thoughts when I say like let's talk about GLP-1?
So it's really hard because we don't know yet. So it's kind of hard to see the effects of it long term because it obviously helps people lose weight, right?
Right.
But if those people aren't working out or doing other things at the same time, they are also losing a significant amount of muscle because their calories are so low.
Right. Which we know is not good.
So that's not good. And when it comes to your health and longevity, being strong and having muscle are two very important things. It's not just about your weight or how much fat you have, right? So long term, is this actually going to make somebody healthier? I don't know. You can, build that muscle again, but you also can gain all that fat back once you're done with it. So it's hard to know if it's actually going to be a net positive at the end because I really feel like losing muscle is not a good thing. So I think it's something that can be a tool that can be helpful, especially for somebody who's significantly overweight, but also better if you are having someone coach you through it and trying to focus on eating protein and still working out at the same time, which is still challenging because your calories are so low, but trying to limit that muscle loss as much as possible.
For sure. And I mean, I think that the interesting thing essentially about these like weight loss drugs and weight loss shots and medications is everything you just described is the same as any other like insanely crash diet, right? It's the same as what's that other one with an O? It's not Ozempic. It's Optavia, however you want to say it. Yeah. Where basically you're bringing your calories super, super low. I mean, it's the same general idea, except the slight edge that the GLP-1 or the weight loss med shots have is they kind of take away the food noise for people. Like they actually kind of get rid of your appetite. So somebody going through like a very restrictive diet, they still have kind of the mental desire to eat. Their hunger hormones are through the roof, et cetera, et cetera. But the weight loss drugs kind of take that piece away. So it's almost like so much easier to attain that because you're not thinking about food constantly all the time. It takes away that food noise and the appetite. So in that way, it's like very intriguing, right? For people who really struggle with that.
Yeah.
And like you said, there is a host of issues with severely dropping calories for the sole goal of losing as much weight as possible. Like there's a
Yeah.
whole host of negatives associated with that. But if we have somebody who's limiting their limiting factor, I guess, in being able to be healthy is their weight, and we have a tool that we can help them get over that hurdle, and that person, let's just assume that this is a really smart person that wants to do it the right way. They want to hire a trainer, they want to hire a coach, they want to make sure they're eating enough to support muscle growth and muscle maintenance without dropping their calories so low, but still having fat loss, et cetera, et cetera. Could that be a good thing?
Yes, I think so. So I guess that's like a case by case basis. That's looking at
Mm-hmm.
it like as a certain person using it, as opposed to like I was looking at the more macro, looking at it more of in a macro way of like overall for society, is this going to be a good thing?
Definitely. Well, yeah,
Um,
because I told you the story about my mom who's not fat at all. Like she's trying not or overweight or
yeah,
any of it. She's wanted to lose 5 pounds for her wedding, and she was in her place where she gets skincare done. Like I don't know, she's doing a facial or
yeah.
something, and just commenting how she wanted to lose 5 more pounds for her wedding. And the lady behind the desk was like, "Oh, do you want Wegovy? You should get those shots." And my mom's calling me, going, "Hey, what do you think about?" I was like, "For you?" Absolutely not. Because, of course, the thing we haven't mentioned yet, there's also a lot of like pretty terrible side effects.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also wonder if there's a benefit of just like microdosing it, like having a small amount of it compared to like a full on, I don't know like what a normal dose is, but like having a smaller amount in for somebody who just needs that little bit of help during a certain time.
Right.
Do you think something like that would be something?
I mean, there's got to be dosing amounts, right?
Yeah.
I'd really be curious. I know we both listened to that Mind Pump podcast where was it Adam? He put himself on it
Yeah.
just to see. I mean, I really think that it's really not that much different. It's got benefits. It's got a lot of unknowns. It's got the benefits of taking away the food noise and the appetite for somebody that really struggles with that because we know that not everybody struggles with food noise and appetite in the same way.
Mhm.
Especially, and genetics have a large part to do with that. Your actual how much you weigh actually has a lot to do with how you experience like your hunger hormones and your appetite. So
Yeah.
somebody who has more body fat is actually going to have higher hunger signals a lot of the times. So there's lots of disparity between people on how they experience it. So I think that the argument from like the like fitness population saying you just need to buckle down and do it the right way and eat less and
Yeah.
move more, I think is BS because I think they have no idea the struggles that somebody who actually suffers with obesity like goes through. So to have a tool that can actually help them like overcome the mental hurdle, and the food noise and all of that stuff and be able to have success is cool. There's a whole host of unknowns, right? Like you said, like long term, we don't actually know how this is going to impact. I mean, we're injecting like a solution directly into your body. We know
Yeah.
that it makes people sick. We know that it can cause like some kind of blockage in digestion for some people. Like there's
Mhm.
definitely some pretty severe side effects. Um, but I feel like there could be if we can take like I heard the guys on Mind Pump talking about it in this way. If you can take away for somebody for people like us like working with a client, if we can take away the obsessive need to like lose weight because that's kind of already taken care of, then it
Yeah.
would be really really cool to really just focus on helping that client build and maintain muscle,
Yeah.
fix their relationship with food while they're taking care of like their weight loss in a different way.
Yeah, that was my other thing I was gonna say too is unless you're like working with someone in that instance, I don't think this is going to help. Like you're gonna have to be on it forever, which is a terrible thing
Mhm.
because you
Mhm.
can't have those low calories forever. You'll be malnourished and you won't be healthy. Um, or you'll like when you come off of it, a lot of people are gonna gain that weight back because they haven't learned
Mhm.
anything. I don't
Mhm.
think it while they're on it, it might, help them with that like you said, that noise, but when they come off of it, are they just going to go back to normal again and eat the way they
90%
used
of
to
the
eat?
time they will,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we already see some, studies are coming out that show like 90% of the time. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you haven't
But like
actually gone through the
imagine
process.
imagine eating like 800 calories a day forever. You're going to be like you're not going to get all the nutrients, like the micronutrients and things you need. So,
Right.
yeah.
And I think people know, like, I think people go into that knowing that it's not going to be something they can stay on forever, but they see this crystal ball of losing all of this weight
Mhm.
without that, and they feel like they don't have to try that hard. Like, oh, I just
Yeah.
take this shot. I don't actually have to do anything. You take away all the
Yeah.
work associated with weight loss, essentially, and
Eh,
you present somebody with this, but that's the wrong way to go about
yeah.
it.
And then afterwards, a lot of people I'm assuming would think, "Well, I'll figure out how to keep it off later. Like
Nope.
I just want to get there and then I'll figure it out later." But you're not going to figure it out later if you didn't
Nope.
figure it out during the time you were doing it.
Right. Because the days pass, we have busy lives.
Mhm.
If you're not willing to put in the work now, there's no chance you're going to pick that up later. Like, you have to
Yeah.
be in the right mindset. So I think it can be a good tool in the right mindset.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if I'm going to agree with myself when I say this. I'm thinking out loud. I think I might. No, I feel like I agree with myself. I think it's a better tool than like a restrictive diet. Because in a restrictive diet like Octavia, they're writing down these rules and these regulations. The weight loss shot doesn't come with rules and regulations. It just takes away the appetite so that you can follow a set of guidelines that you feel like fits you. So if you have the weight loss shot, you take away some of that food noise, you reduce the appetite a little bit, and you allow that person to open up their mind and follow, let's say, our set of regulations. We're going to prioritize protein, we're going to prioritize fiber, we're going to strength train, we're going to work on meal frequency and sitting down, eating undistracted, and vegetables and protein and all that stuff. And that could be a really positive thing. So yeah, absolutely. I think it's actually better than a lot of those restrictive diets that are out there.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yep, yep, yep.
Very interesting. Next, you got something? Or do you want to pop to the group chat?
Let's go to the group. Let's see what they have.
What did they say? Beth said, when we say group chat, we're talking about our client group chat. We literally messaged them. I think as we were hitting record, it was like, quick, give us. We haven't prepared. We haven't asked people to ask questions, but they came through. I mean, Beth brought up suggestions on how to best support recovery. I think that's a great one.
Okay. Yeah.
What do
Yeah.
you think?
For recovery, definitely sleep. Sleep is super important. Um, Making sure that you're getting enough food. And a lot of people when they think of recovery, they think of resting, and you want to rest but not like full on rest. So make sure you get like activity in, make sure that you're moving around, make sure that you are, I mean, you could even do like body weight things if you need to like loosen up a little bit or anything like that. But I recommend keeping that blood flowing and moving around and not just sitting on the couch all day. That helps me more. Like if I just sit around, I get like super sore.
I
So
think that's a
yeah.
really good point. Actually, that's a good point that I've thought about before. When people say like rest or like rest day, that
Yeah.
doesn't mean lay on the couch day.
No.
It just means don't be intense with your exercise day. Like, that's what
Yeah.
that means.
Yeah, yeah.
You should very, very rarely have a lay on the couch all day day. And that's why
No.
I guess we say the 7 to 10K steps, because if you're doing enough activity that your watch is picking up about 7 to 10K steps, then you're good. Like, that's a good rest day.
Yeah. Yeah,
But we
yeah.
still want to walk, we still want to move, we still want blood flow. Absolutely. But I think that the whole topic of recovery, and I feel like people ask this a lot in general, not necessarily in our group, but like I hear people talk about this, like, oh, how do we best support recovery? And I feel like it's one of those things that always comes back to the absolute basics and foundations. Like, the answer is
Mhm.
actually really, really boring. You
Yeah.
need to be sleeping. You need to be
Yeah.
sleeping 7 to 9 hours a night. You need to be eating enough, like you said,
Mhm.
and you need to be, obviously, we don't want to be training too much, but rarely is that the problem. It's usually that the rest of our life doesn't support the activity that we're doing when we start to feel like we're not recovering as well.
Exactly. I
And more
agree.
often than not, I feel like with working with clients, when they start to hit a wall with recovery, almost always it is that they are not actually doing a great job keeping track of their nutrition,
Yeah.
but they are hitting it hard in the gym. And it's great. I want them to hit it harder than Jim. But then when I start getting messages about like, oh, I don't feel that great. I'm more tired than usual. This
Hmm.
joints and aches and pains and stiffness. I always am like, well, let's look at your nutrition. If everything else is good on their check-ins
Yeah.
and stuff, I go and look at their nutrition. And if I see we have a lot of inconsistency, almost always somebody is like not eating enough to support what they're doing
Yeah.
most of the time.
I I don't have any evidence to support this, so this is just my opinion. I feel like the quality of your food matters too. So like I feel
Sure.
better if I'm eating mostly whole foods compared to if I'm eating a lot of, processed things when it comes to how I'm feeling in my workout and after my workout. I feel like I recover better when I eat a better quality diet on top of
Yep.
it.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, macronutrient ratio. So it's not just amount of calories that you're eating,
Mhm.
but somebody could be still kind of not necessarily eating like 800 calories, not like under eating massively, but they might just be eating, you know, uh, maybe slightly lower than what they're used to eating compared to the activity that they're doing. And
Yeah.
then they're not prioritizing protein. So we've got a
Yeah.
lot of fat, a lot of carbs. We don't have enough protein. We're not having enough carbs from the right sources. So we're not really fueling our workouts,
Yeah.
and just kind of nutrition's all over the map.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely feel better, and I feel like everybody's different too with like how they feel better with their, their split with their macros. I feel better when my protein is always pretty high, but then my carbs are a little bit higher than my like not a little
Yes.
bit higher, when my carbs are higher than my fats. I
Yes.
I do better with that.
For sure. You need those carbs for a
Yes.
good workout and for good recovery and sleep. I mean, sleep is
Oh
like,
yeah.
I would say equal. I mean, if you're not sleeping well,
Mhm.
and you're not recovering well, change nothing until you change your sleep, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Sleep is super important.
And then
All
we're talking
those.
about too, like in terms of recovery, like what does it mean necessarily for the person? So if are you feeling like you're not recovering as well because you're tired or you're low energy, or is it because you have aches and pains in your joints?
Mhm.
That we might want to look at your form and technique in that scenario as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and there's certain people, certain exercises they notice that they'll have more aches and pains with, and things like that.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Um, how about genetics and the role that that plays? Not obviously in like recovery per se, but just in I feel like genetics are massively understated. I'll say it that
Yeah.
way. I feel like people don't talk about it enough. Like we're constantly talking about what you need to do in terms of fitness and nutrition and sleep and all of the other things, but we're
Mhm.
not touching on the role that genetics plays enough.
I think you're more about that than I am. I
Super about it.
I think part of the reason is because you can't change it. So if we are always talking about, well, it's your genetics, then people kind of sometimes say, "Oh, that's why," like that gives them excuse to do certain
You don't like
things.
that. You don't like when
No,
people have excuses. That really
I
pisses
don't.
you off. I'm the soft one in this this couplage.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
just do it. Don't make excuses, just do it. Yeah.
Sure. Of course. I agree with you. 100%. I agree with you. However, I feel like people literally don't know. Like they don't
Yeah.
know that that's a thing. Like I'll see people in these groups that are showing pictures of J Lo being like, "How can I get this body?" And it's like, you can't. You weren't built that way.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree with that. Like I am not naturally lean. Like it's really hard for me to get down to low low body fat percentages, and it's just other people are more naturally that way, but I also am like super strong. That's
Right.
what I am. That's my genetics. I'm not made
Right.
to be super lean. I'm made to be really strong. And so I kind of like to lean into that a little bit.
At
So
least you're made to be something. What am
I
I made to be? I can't think. At least you got something. I'm like, what am I made for?
you're balanced, I guess.
Okay.
That's good.
No, 100%. I mean, yeah, I hear you on like not making excuses, and I think that's really important. I don't think anything should be talked up. Like we talk about that in like menopause and hormones and stuff as well. Like, yeah, it has an impact, but should that impact what you do?
Mhm.
No. Like you should be, whatever. But it's the general idea that we've talked about this before too. If we were to write a nutrition and training program for everybody in the world and just blanket everybody has to do the same thing, we would still all look different.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I
mean, we
agree.
know that logically, but we'd probably maybe cure obesity as a disease, I think. What do
Probably.
you think? Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I think there are certain people, it's the hormones, it's like the hunger hormones. Like
Mhm.
they don't know when they're full, or
Mhm.
they're constantly hungry. I think people that are prone to obesity, it's more that than, so if they were actually following the diet, I
Right.
think that everybody would pretty much, yeah.
No, in this magical scenario, everybody follows it.
Yeah, then I
Whether
think
we're just giving everybody GLP-1. So there's
yeah.
no appetite in this,
Yeah.
nobody gets it. Nobody gets
But
appetite, but they
yeah.
have to follow the protocol.
Yeah. Then I think so.
But we'd still have people that were size 10. We'd still have people that were size 0. We would
Mhm.
still have, people who had lower fat in their belly.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's the obesity part. Like it's nobody's naturally obese. You,
Right.
that's like, yeah. But once you get to a certain point, it's certain people. It's a lot harder to get leaner than other people.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a
Hmm.
lot that is missing that we talk about that. And I think it's important that people are aware of.
I, and I'm a coach. I know how nutrition works and everything, right? And I have the hardest time, like, so like, so my body likes to stay between like 123 to 100 and like 27 pounds. Like it likes to stay there. So I can eat a decent amount of food and stay in this range, and eat very low calories and stay in this range. Like once I get to like 123, it's like I was saying, I think on our first podcast, I was eating like 1,350 calories
Uh-huh.
while still getting like 12,000 steps a day, which is more than I normally get. I normally am an 8,000 steps a day person. So my activity was up and my calories were down. And still my weight was like, nope, nope,
Yep.
we're not losing any weight right now. This is where you are staying.
Yeah.
Like, why?
What do you think about that, about like set points, like weight set points?
I actually, like, I know that's like a theory. There's no proof to that, but just looking at myself and how that happens, I feel like there's some validity to that, because it's really hard for me to but I think you can change that set point. I think like 123 seems to be where my body is comfortable, but I bet you anything, if I got over that hump and I got down to, like, say 120, I don't know. And say I
Mm-hmm.
got down to 120 and then I was there for a while and I stayed there for a while and maintained there for a while, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that would be a new set point. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
think I think you can get past that, but it's harder once you get there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think that there is a set point that your body likes to be at, but a lot of times that's determined by it's determined partly by genetics and wiring and just who you are and what you're born with, right? But I think it's also determined by the lifestyle you've lived for a certain amount of time or whatever, and your body
Mhm.
just wants to sit there. But like you said, you can kind of get over that and then create kind of a new set point, but it takes a lot. And that's one of the reasons why they say learning how to maintain, for somebody who's trying to actually lose weight and lose body fat long term, learning how to maintain it is harder than losing it, because you have to send all those signals to your body that this is like your new way of being, and
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah, I agree.
But you don't want, and it's also, is it worth pushing past? Because for you, it's like, is it really? I mean, we're talking about 123 to 120, 118. Do we even really
Yeah.
want that like that badly?
No. No. No, that's why I stopped. No, like I've said, I want to be more comfortable at around like 125. Like I want
Right.
that to be my happy place where I'm like leaner at this weight. I don't want to
Right.
have to keep lowering it and lowering it and lowering it. So I just have to, but it's muscle building is slow. So it
Got
takes
to
a
get
while.
that quad diameter.
Yeah.
How's that going?
Good. I'm not as
Getting a
sore
head
this week as
start.
I.
Whatever. I'm still mad at you. Starting ahead of me.
Yeah. The workouts are brutal, especially Monday. I
Oh,
always make Mondays workouts the hardest. It's like the first day of the week where I'm ready because I had a day or two off at least.
mm-hmm.
So I'm ready to go. And I kind of like by Friday, I'm like, I'm a little tired. So I usually like go for it on Monday. So Monday's workouts are always the hardest.
Let's talk about smart programming. Just
Yeah.
leaning into like your natural flow of the week.
Yeah. So after Monday's workout, I was like, I want to puke right now. But
Hey, you know what's
what's that?
the most loving? Said with all of the love in the world, and this happens this time every single year, the amount of people that are falling off the wagon and struggling to get back on
Mm,
is like, I just want to, like, I want to just replicate myself and go live with them and be like that trainer that like yells at them and like I just want to like literally kick them in the ass
yeah.
and be like, there is no reason for this. Stop getting in your own head. And the reason it happens this time of year is because people go on vacations. They do things change in the summer, right? A lot of times kids are out of school. Maybe you go on a vacation. Things happen that change your routine. And for
Yeah.
people who haven't had a long enough time building their routine, when they get that big change, they can have little bumps in the road. Like we have clients all the time. Oh, they have a weekend vacation here. They go on a week long vacation here. They learn
Yeah.
how to get back in the rhythm. But then all of a sudden, summer comes. You combine kids coming home from school. You got a vacation, maybe combined with like another weekend away and a wedding, and it's like multiple things and it feels like they're stumbling,
Yeah.
and then it's all done and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm having such a hard time getting back on track. I gained 5 pounds. I just want to like reach through. Who the cares? Of course you gained 5 pounds. You just got back from a 2 week long cruise and like your grandma Terry's wedding where you ate
Grandma
like
Terry.
a million slices of cake. And yeah, I would have gained 5 pounds too. That's normal. It's okay.
Yeah. I know, and that's the thing of the like uh, of the getting mad at yourself about it instead of like moving on and
Mm-hmm.
doing focusing on what you can control now and constantly being like, "Oh, but I screwed up, so now I'm just going to just do nothing." Like
Yeah.
you got to yeah, like what am I trying to say?
It
Words
is
have
it
lost my
is
head.
it is not good. Like this is the thing that I think people have in their minds, especially because I think when we're talking about like our clients, right? So these are people who, when you hire somebody, there's a mindset that goes into hiring somebody. You're excited, you want to do everything that they say, and sometimes it's really intrinsically easy to do everything they say because you're like, yeah, I just put the thinking in the hands of somebody else. They tell me what to do, I do it, I get results, I feel good. But then when they start to get off of that, they're trying to find that like feel good feeling again. And that's where I want to come through and be like, this is where it's going to determine how you live your life like from
Yeah.
now on. Like it's not going to be fun and intrinsically motivating, or even just like slightly challenging, like, oh, that was a really hard workout because I this is like day after day I don't want to do anything. I feel like I'm reverting to where I was the last time I fell off the wagon. And I just want to be like, there is no falling off the wagon. Your first workout is going to absolutely suck. Your second workout is not going to be good. You are going to be sore. You are going to be tired. You're probably going to hate every second of it, but you're going to go through the motions because this is what you do in this lifestyle as this
Yeah.
person who you are and who you've decided you are going to be, period. And this is another thing that I think people subconsciously don't realize. You are not going to maintain your progress forever. I think there's like this big lie out there that like, oh, lose weight, gain muscle and maintain it for the rest of your life. No, you're not going to maintain that. You're going to the goal is not to maintain that. The goal is to maintain the tools and the skills that enabled you to get there while living a flexible and comfortable lifestyle. You're going to have times where life, it just is too crazy and you can't, like right now for me, I'm traveling, I'm not going to be able to maintain my strength. I'm probably not going to be able to maintain my body fat percentage. I'm probably going to come back and be a couple pounds up and maybe have lost a little bit of muscle, maybe. I'm
Yeah.
doing a pretty good job, but like if I did nothing, I definitely would like have lost some. Does
Yeah.
that mean anything in the grand scope of my life? No.
Yeah.
Like it's 6 weeks out of my entire life. I'm not going
Yeah.
to be laying on my deathbed at 90 looking back and going, damn it, I wish I had just maintained that, 28.75 body fat percentage and like my weight didn't change on the scale. I would have given up all that ice cream cake I was offered in order to be able. No,
Yeah.
so it's just not that big of a deal. So I told one of our clients the other day, I was like, she's like, I'm up 5 pounds. I was like, I don't care. You shouldn't care either. It's going to happen again. There's going to actually be times in your life where you gain 10 or 20.
Yeah.
It's not about, it's about knowing exactly, having the tools to be able to get back to where you want to be without floundering and wondering what the heck you're going to do and beating yourself up.
Yeah. Exactly.
You
I
talk
had
about
thought.
not wanting people to have excuses. I feel like that's probably something that you're like, there's just no stop, like shush, do the thing. I feel like that's like the Laura response is like, shut up, just do it.
It is. I mean, I don't say that in that way.
Of
Try
course
to
not.
say a little bit more motivating and nicer.
Shut up. Of course not. We have all the right things that we tell people, all the right reminders, right?
Yeah.
But when you see it like big picture, I just want to like go, I just want to like shake them. Like you've
Yeah.
got this. Stop letting your
Yeah.
emotions mess with your plan. Just do the thing. It's going to suck. Do it anyway.
And we're not talking about anyone particular. This is just like a mesh of people that we're
It's a
talking
mesh. I
about.
see it. I see
Yeah.
it. I see it everywhere at this time of the year. I'm seeing it with my
Yeah.
friends. I'm seeing it with my family. I am seeing it with
Mhm.
clients. I'm seeing it online.
And there's a sorry. And there's I was think this reminded me of this when you were first talking about it. And there's a difference of I'm falling off because it's summertime and I want to enjoy myself a little bit over the summer and not be as restrictive. So maybe you come out of your cut and maybe you're more at maintenance, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
you're even in a slight surplus and you still want to make sure you're, most of your foundational things are there, but maybe you're not, maybe this isn't your number one priority during this time. And that's okay too. But if you are like upset that that you've gained 5 pounds and you want to get back at it, but you don't know how, that's more of the issue.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so that's when we talk about being really crystal clear with like what your goals are,
Yeah.
what you're willing to do in order to meet those goals, and what your expectations are as well,
Yeah.
like among all of that. And people who are pretty much aligned, like, look, I kind of generally want this goal, but I also really want this lifestyle right now. So I'm going to lower my expectations of this goal for now so that I can maintain this lifestyle, so that I can enjoy this process and then really get back to it later. And you can manage all of that. Like, that's the goal, right? We all want to be there. We all want to be
Mhm.
able to do that and not have it mess with us mentally. Yeah, obviously it's not that. It's the people who want it so bad
Mhm.
and they think that they aren't capable in some
Yeah.
subconscious place. They think
Mhm.
that they're sucking, they're breaking down. I can't do this. This is hard.
And
And they're in their own way. They're all in their head.
it is really challenging, by the way, to go on vacations and do these things and break that cycle and then come back. Like it's really hard to get those habits back. But the other thing I
Super.
say is once you do it, like just do it. Really like go at it for like a week or two and you'll be back. Like once you start the process of doing that and you stick to it for like a couple weeks, those habits will come back. They're going to come back faster and easier this time around than they did originally.
Right. And I like to tell people that the first week of trying to get back on track is going to be really messy and it's really going to suck. And it might
Yeah.
not. I mean, and if it doesn't, great, good for you. But if you go in with the expectation that, all right, here's week one back from, whatever it is that threw me, it's going to suck, but I'm going to go through the motions anyway. I don't have any expectations of myself on performance or weight lifted or exertion level. I'm just going to
Yeah.
go through the motions. And in terms of nutrition, I say do a little bit better every day, because the
Mhm.
reality is too, and this is something that I feel like is really important to be aware of. If you're coming off of a trip or a holiday or whatever it is where you've been eating a lot of processed foods and a lot of foods that normally you might not include in your diet, your palate changes. Like
Yeah.
salad doesn't taste as good anymore and actually used to taste good because your palate literally changes and you crave those
You
foods
crave
more.
it. Yeah.
So instead of going straight into day one, I'm going to have none of that, and then as soon as you like stick your hand in the chip bag or the Reese's, cups or whatever, you feel like you failed. Like, because I do that. I don't know if you do that, but I do that. Like on day one, when I come back, my palate has shifted and I
Mhm.
have to go little by little. I have to say, okay, that was day one. I'm going to do better day two. So I'm just going to have like one less than I had. And I just go step by step. By the end of the week, usually I can kind of readjust my palate.
Yeah, I tell people to ease into it. I don't expect them to be perfect on week 1. I'm talking about someone who's like, it's been a couple weeks now. Like you need to get those habits back if they're having a hard time
Right.
getting back into it. But for me personally, I do that sometimes where I ease in back into it. That doesn't always work for me though. Sometimes I have to be like, I need to avoid this stuff for like a week and then I can introduce it back in slowly and that works better for me. So it
Mm,
depends on the situation and how much I've fallen off. Yeah. Sometimes it like creeps up and I'm like,
yeah,
okay, I
I
need
hear you.
I need to avoid this. And honestly, if I say like I'm going to avoid this altogether, for sometimes that'll make you eat more of it. Because then you're like, I can't. It's like psychologically, like now I want it because I'm telling myself I can't have it. Anytime you tell yourself you can't have something, it makes you want it. But other times, what it does is it's like, well, I only had 5 today because I told myself I couldn't have any. And then I was like, well, I'll just have like 5. I don't know how to explain it, but sometimes I'll be like, have a little bit and it makes me not because if I just say I can have it, then I might have too much of it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you limit the amount. You tell yourself you can have like a certain amount.
I tell myself not to have any, but then I might break, but I can limit it.
So your breaking point is like only 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like, oh, I was bad, but I
Yeah.
only
But
had,
I don't
but
feel like I'm bad. I'm like, actually, I did pretty good. I only had 5. That's fine. I'm just like,
it's just,
I'm thinking like chips in my head, like Pringles or something. 5
it's
Pringles.
just funny, like
Yeah.
mental things.
And I don't, yeah, I don't tell that to clients usually because most of the time I wouldn't tell them to avoid it altogether because I think for most people the only time I've done that is when a client is like, they've just they're like their lunch is like soda and chips. It's like
Mm,
that's all they eat and they need to like separate themselves from all of that food because it's like they need that like to change their palate altogether like, as soon as
mm-hmm.
possible.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
a good point though, because you're right, and I know that that's true, but it's sometimes you're reminded that like people are very different in terms of that as well. Like for me, and maybe sometimes in different seasons of life that works for
Mhm.
me. I'm not really sure, but I know that where I'm at right now, like complete 360 like avoidance change of plan like doesn't work for me. I have to go little by little.
Yeah.
I can't just do that. Whereas like my I have a friend who once she decides like she's going to limit something, it just has to completely disappear from her diet completely.
Yeah, some
Because
people
if
are
she
like
allows,
that.
yeah, if she allows a little of it, like, and some of that is like relationship with food related. Like
Mhm.
there's sometimes where you can actually fix that, but
Yeah.
there's some people are just wired that way, and it just that works better for them.
Yeah.
And so finding the thing that's going to work for somebody.
It's also like a rule of like it gives them a guideline. So I guess you could give yourself a guideline of I'm allowed this much today of this. But if you don't have any guidelines, I think that's when it can be where you can just like not make any changes.
Well, that's what I find with myself is that I'm happy to go back to like eating all the whole foods and tracking my intake and making sure I'm there, but I just like desire the other stuff more. So it's
Mhm.
like I'll go from having like breakfast and then wash it down with an Oreo and then maybe a Reese's cup and then lunch and then okay, I'm going to have a couple chips. Okay, I did that twice. I did it after breakfast and I did it after lunch. Tomorrow it's going to be like one Oreo or like whatever. I can like wean
Yeah.
myself throughout the week if I'm coming off of an event or something that literally affected my palate because that
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. And I know that I've like so I used to have to just not eat it at all, but now I can eat things and be fine with it. So like last Halloween was like the best I've ever done because there's like so much candy in the house. And Caleb doesn't really eat a lot of chocolate. So the chocolate is mine because that's what I like. I like
Yeah.
chocolate. And I was able to like have one a day or like one every other day, and I was fine with it. Other times I've been like, it's here, I want to eat it, because if it's in the house, I want to eat it. So
So what do you
that,
think's
and
changed between those two mindsets?
I just think like we were saying last podcast, was that over time my relationship with food, it just keeps getting better and better and better. And just it's like a skill, like anything else that you just improve. I don't know if there's anything specific that's
Hmm.
different from this year or from last year than the year before, but yeah.
I've been noticing the same thing with myself, even though this has been such a long journey for me, and every year I've gotten better. And one of the things I've noticed this maybe it's even this trip, but I think it's been in the last couple months. I've noticed that I really don't like the feeling of being overly full. And
Mhm.
I used to not know where that line was really. Like I was too focused on eating and enjoying and getting as much in my mouth as I could.
Yeah.
And now like if I start to get full, I'm like I really don't like the way it feels, and I will make a choice to stop eating and not finish my plate, which is weird for me.
Same thing with me. Actually, that's weird that you said that, because I just noticed that recently with me too, and I didn't know if it was because I just came off of a cut, and when a cut, I was like never full. So that full feeling is weird because I'm not used to it.
And it comes
I
on
also
faster.
notice, what's that?
It comes on faster. Like if you're coming out of a cut,
Yeah.
you eat like 1,700 calories. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm stuffed.
Yeah, not anymore now. Now I'm like, eating a ton of food. Um, but I also notice that once I get back to maintenance and I'm eating a lot more food, I also don't like feeling empty. There's that feeling too. I hate
Hmm.
feeling like there's no food in my stomach. Like I have to
Hmm.
like always be eating. It's weird. So it's both. I don't like being full, but I also don't like being empty.
ABE, always be eating.
Yeah,
There's
I
like a
really am. I'm like
phrase.
always shoving food in my mouth. Always be eating. That's me. It's like, oh, here's some, like today. It was like, what I eat today. I had oatmeal for breakfast with, an apple in it and some protein powder and some good stuff. I don't know, chia seeds. And then um I had some raspberries later on. I had a banana. I had some strawberries, and I was just like picking at stuff all throughout the day. So I had like, yeah, blueberries. I had a lot of fruit today. That's not
Yeah. Where's the protein? Oatmeal,
um,
oh, protein powder in the oatmeal. Okay, what was
yeah,
lunch?
yeah. I know I had beef jerky. I had beef jerky too.
For
So
lunch?
yeah, I
Oh,
just been
like interspersed in the snacks.
yeah,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna have a shake after this, a like smoothie, so more fruit. Lots of fruit today. Oh, I also had watermelon. See, I don't stop eating.
Yeah.
It's 3 o'clock. I haven't even eaten lunch yet. That was just snacks.
Well, I was, oh, what did I think I put this in maybe the email that I sent out or something, but we've talked before about how a lot of times we're the fittest ones in the room, but we also are the ones that eat the most in the room.
Yeah,
Like we've had that conversation a lot. And I had another experience where I was at a restaurant with friends, and I was definitely like my husband and I were the fittest ones at the table, and we ordered like the most amount of food like at the table, and everybody else was eating like, oh, I'm just going to get like some mozzarella sticks, or I'm just going to get these small amounts of food. And it's
yeah,
just another one of those things where people look at us and they're like, whoa, you're eating a lot, and we're like, well, yeah. i'm
yeah.
I'm hungry.
My I remember my dad used to make fun of me all the time, and my aunt Lisa, like anytime we would have Super Bowl parties at my dad's house, and I would just eat so much food, and
Yeah.
she would just look at me like, I cannot believe
Where does it
there's
go? I get that a lot. Where does
yeah,
it go?
there's no way that you eat that much.
To the
I'm like, yep,
biceps.
that's me. I'm like, because and I always say something like, I lift a lot, so I get to eat a lot, you
Yeah,
know.
definitely.
It
But what did I
helps.
have this morning? I'm gonna get, and then we can end. But I want to
Okay.
share it because I'm trying so hard to get like good nutrition while I'm traveling.
Yeah.
So this morning at the hotel, they have a breakfast down there, and it's like pancakes and sugary cereals and bagels and pastries. But they also have eggs, which are awful. They're like the powdered. they kind of taste like cardboard. Like they're not
Yeah.
good. So I
Yeah.
just avoid those completely. It's not even worth it. But
Yeah.
they do have hard boiled eggs in the fridge. So,
Cool.
and they have oatmeal. So I got a scoop of oatmeal. That was my fiber. And put some banana and some sugar and stuff in there, cinnamon. And then I had 5 egg whites from the hard boiled eggs. And then I had a Chobani yogurt, had 9 grams of protein. So that was like 26. I think it was like 26 or 27. I added up in my head. And then for lunch, which was, could have been better, but for lunch I made up for it because I had this farro salad we had made for a pool party. We made like a Greek farro salad. Farro is the best grain ever, if you don't know what it is. And I added 2 cans of like chicken to it. So it's like 32 grams of protein. And then I want to say that salad had like 7 grams of fiber, if not more. So I felt pretty good about that.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good for the options that you have.
Yeah. No, I'm proud of myself. I want more celebration from you, actually.
Great job,
really
Jamie.
Good.
I wish I could be like you.
That's better. No ice cream cake today.
I was just looking at my food diary to see okay, so I have the shake in here, so I'm going to have that after this. So it's like a smoothie with a bunch of stuff in it. And so that would be 82 grams of protein, but I already am at 40 grams of fiber.
Dang.
From all the food I ate.
All that fruit.
All that fruit, man.
Bomb diggity. You know what?
Those raspberries.
I was just about to say, you know what I've been just devouring since we've been here in the States is raspberries and watermelon.
Yeah.
Because they're so expensive in Korea.
Are they?
I just don't buy them. Well, we've been treating ourselves to watermelon lately. They're on sale, quote unquote, $15 for like a large one.
Oh my God.
$15. Come here. I was at the store, $6 for a seedless. They don't have seedless either. So you got to fight through the seeds. I'm like, oh my God, seedless watermelon for $6. I'm in heaven.
I eat the seeds when they have seeds in them. I would assume that's fiber too.
There's something in those. Seeds are fiber. Like, they're the beginning of life. They've got everything in them. Yeah. Seeds of all types. Don't discriminate.
Yeah. I
do too. I have a very vivid memory as a child of eating the watermelon seed and asking my dad what happened. I ate a watermelon seed and he made the joke, oh, you're going to grow a watermelon tree in your belly. Yeah. And I literally have a memory of sitting on the toilet crying because I was trying so hard to process it out of me before it grew. So don't worry, folks. That won't happen. All right, episode 3, Deadlifts and Pizza podcast.
Awesome.
A lot of gibberish about a lot of random crap. Hope you liked it. Yeah. Please leave us a 5-star review on all platforms. If you liked it, means a lot. Helps the algorithm. Like, subscribe, all that stuff.
Yes.
All right,
please.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.